Hey, welcome. How's it going, everybody? Yeah, how's it going? Another day? Another day? Is it another day? That's a Groundhog Day syndrome, man. It's like every day you wake up and you're stuck in this loop. It's the same crap over and over again. You get up, brush your teeth, go to work, come back home, watch some Netflix, go to bed, rinse, repeat. It's like you're trapped in a time warp, but with no cool DeLorean, right? And it's not just that it's not the routine that sucks. It's lack of inspiration. You feel like you're going through the motions, not really living. It's like your soul is taking a nap and you just can't seem to wake it up. So what do? We try and find ways to break out of that loop. Some people turn to drugs, others travel. Some people, religion. But before you know it, you're back at square one, watching some idiot live stream from a jungle studio in Portland. Yeah. But life is not boring. It's that we're afraid to take risks. We're scared to try new things, to fail, to look stupid. We're obsessed with fitting in, being accepted, and we forget to live. We forgot that life's supposed to be messy and unpredictable, and that's what makes it beautiful. My advice? Embrace the chaos. Take risks, try new things. Don't be afraid to fail. It's only by making mistakes that we can really learn and grow. And who knows, maybe you'll discover something amazing along the way. I have a ton of awesome stories, and none of them happened to me sitting on my couch. My name is Tom Coffey. This is the Coffee Nuance Show, the best censored commentary and news show live right now. Flame on. Hey, all right. Groundhog's Day syndrome. It's also called repetition compulsion, okay? It's a feeling of perpetual repetition of our daily lives, where no matter what we do, we can't shake the sensation that we're stuck on this never-ending plateau. And it's a feeling that's familiar to everyone. It doesn't discriminate. And it can be from social conditioning, lack of inspiration, combination of both. You know, there's lots of ways to try to break out, try to do something new. However, most of the solutions, they're just temporary. And the feeling of this Groundhog Day syndrome just persists, right? Do you ever feel that way? I do sometimes. I look around and I'm like, oh, here I am again. Here I am again. I was stuck in the middle, right? But that's an idea that I want you to think about today on this Big Idea Wednesday, that you can break out of that. And why not? Right? If whatever you're doing isn't working, if feeling like you're in this endless loop is not working, mix it up. Why not? What else you got? Why not? You know, I know a lot of times, especially as you get older, you just don't have the energy to fail, the energy to try new things, the energy to go new places. But at least you're not going to be in that endless loop of Groundhog Day syndrome. So let me know what, if you felt that way. I think probably most people have felt that way before. And is there anything in particular that you did to break out of it? That'd be good to know. But now let's take a look at what we're going to be talking about today. We got a good show. Let's see. I can find my foot pedal here. There we go. It is March 1st, and Big Idea Wednesday, but we talked about Groundhog Day syndrome. But next I want to talk about... Next I want to talk about changing names. This is a big story and I think you're going to like it. Marianne Williamson has announced that she's running. I have the results of the Nigerian election, which probably nobody cares about, but we'll touch on that in just a second. And sidewalks. They're closing sidewalk crossings in Portland. I'm going to tell you why. And lastly, for some good news, it's called Capitalization, but it's probably not what you think. So I think you're going to like that story. But let's get to this first story about the Audubon Society here in Portland. Okay. Portland Audubon is going to change its name. Yeah. It's a chapter of the National Audubon Society has announced its decision to change its name due to its namesake's controversial history. Oh my goodness. John James Audubon was a famous ornithologist and naturalist who cataloged birds across the U.S., but he was also a slaveholder. Wah, wah. He opposed the abolition of slavery and robbed the graves of Native Americans, claims this article. The chapter has not yet determined its new name, but it will no longer include Audubon. This decision is part of a larger trend among birding communities to reconsider the use of Audubon's name. The Portland Audubon has encouraged the National Audubon Society to do the same, but the chapter plans to proceed with the name change regardless. The organization remains committed to its mission of promoting the love and protection of birds, wildlife, and the natural environment. So this is interesting, you know? Do you rename something just because the person in the past was going by the rules of their time, right? Judging people in the past based on the mores of today makes sense, right? But we should probably not refer to Abrahamic religions, right? I mean, we call them Abrahamic religions, but guess what? Abraham, he had slaves. And we live in America, right? Named after Amerigo Vespucci. Oh no, don't look it up, because he had slaves too. Okay. Even if we go like the Pacific Ocean, right? That's pacify, peaceful. It was named by Ferdinand Magellan. Uh-oh. He had slaves. Yikes. Well, today is Wednesday, right? The middle of the week. Wednesday, of course, named after the Norse god Odin. You see a trend? Oh, Odin had slaves. Yikes. Well, what about Thursday? That was named after Thor. Thor had slaves. Frigg, wife of Odin. Guess what? Slaves. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Ah, yikes. I guess we got to rename all the days of the week. What about, it's March 1st today. Named after Mars, Roman god of war. Oh, hell. He had slaves. So did January and February. The namesakes also had slaves. Oh, hell. What about Canada, right? Neighbors to the north. It was named by Jacques Cartier. And he took the name. There's some different stories about where the name came from, but he was the one that popularized it. Turns out he owned slaves. So we should probably rename Canada and America. And yeah. What about California, right? Well, in 1500, Montalvo wrote about a mythical island named California populated by black women with beautiful and robust bodies without a single man among them. Uh-oh. That sounds problematic to me as well. So let's rename California. I do Oregon, but they're not exactly sure. It's disputed where the name for Oregon came from, but I'm sure it's problematic as well. Now, I'm not going to mention King David. I'm not going to mention Prophet Muhammad. I got no comment on those guys. But, So I think we should probably just name everything after African kings, right? That would make a lot of sense. Ramses the Great, Sundiata Keita, Mansa Musa, Soni Ali, Amenhotep III, Shaka Zulu, Anubis, Menelik II, Askia the Great, and Za Akum. Oh, that's right. Every single one of those African kings had slaves. And not just a couple. They had a whole lot of slaves. So, yeah, Audubon Society, rename your society. You're doing God's work there. You're doing the right thing by renaming. And while we're at it, let's just rename everything that's ever been named ever, because that's what you would have to do if you followed this out logically. But you can count on Portland for stepping up. And did you even know that Audubon was named after a guy? I've heard that name my whole life. I didn't know it was named after a dude. But now I do, and he's been canceled. So so that's that. Audubon no more. Let me know, what else should we change the name of? You know, what else should we change the name of? Let me know in the comments. And now let's get to a little bit happier news, shall we? All right, Marianne Williamson, self-help author, spiritual advisor. She's announced she's going to run again for the Democratic presidential nomination in 2024. She ran in 2020, proposed a signature policy to establish a Department of Peace. I approve of that. That would promote non-military solutions to foreign conflicts and combat domestic extremism. Williamson is known for her best-selling books and founding support organizations for people with HIV/AIDS and serious illnesses. She's been the spiritual advisor to Oprah Winfrey. In her previous presidential campaign, Williamson did not exceed low single digits in polling averages and dropped out before any votes were cast. But she's back, baby. She is back. And I think that's exciting. I'm glad that someone is stepping up for the Democrats to run. You know, everyone else seems scared. They're scared. Can they announce? Because Joe Biden said that he's going to run. So, and a lot of people may think, oh, how can she be a serious candidate or not? I don't care. Is Joe Biden a serious candidate? Right? Marianne Williamson has a lot more going on upstairs than our current president. She seems to come from a good place, a good heart, and I am glad that she is running. Who knows who I will vote for? I am not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm registered without a party. So I guess my opinion on the primaries really doesn't matter. But I'm excited that Marianne is running, and I think she brings some good things to the table, good things to talk about. I think a Department of Peace, on that alone, I approve. We need a Department of Peace. So good for her. And we'll have to see what else happens, shall we? And here is the news I know you've all been waiting for. The results of the Nigerian 2023 election. Bola Tinubu has been declared the winner. He is, let me put this up here. He's the guy all the way on the side here, that right there. That is Tinubu. Nigerian presidential election has been marred by allegations of rigging, and voter suppression, leading to legal challenges from opposition parties. Ruling party has denied the allegations and defended the election as free and fair, despite some technical glitches in the electronic transmission of results. Turnout was really low, just 29% of eligible voters casting their ballots. The main issues dominating the election were security, the economy, Nigeria's geopolitical influence in West Africa. The newly elected president, Tinubu, has called for unity and cooperation from all parties to build the country. So, yeah, I don't know a whole lot about about the race. He won in a landslide, though. There were three major candidates, and he won by a couple million votes. Big percentage difference between them. I wonder if the other candidates, they're spouting that they don't trust the election results. Do you think they're going to get canceled from Twitter and YouTube and Google? They're going to cancel them for making such claims? Because we all know that no presidential election in the history of the planet has had anything that could have changed the results. They've all been legit on the up and up. That's the amazing thing about this world, is we got a lot of problems in pretty much every single subject. There's problems in everything, and the one exception is presidential elections. Those are all totally legitimate, and I just wish those other politicians in Nigeria would realize that and just join together and join Tinubu in unity and cooperation in Nigeria. So that's what I have to say about that. We'll see if there's any new news in it in the coming weeks. But I just wanted to give you the update there. All right. ODOT, that's the Oregon Department of Transportation, is closing dozens of Portland area crosswalks. Uh-oh. They're planning to close 181 crosswalks in the Portland metro area to comply with the Americans with Disability Act. However, this move is causing concern among pedestrians, cyclists, people with disabilities, who say it's going to make the road less safe. Some of the crosswalks can't accommodate a compliant ramp because of obstacles, while others are poorly lit and have been the site of previous crashes. Personal injury lawyers say the people could be cited for crossing at the crosswalk closed signs and for failing to obey a traffic control device. And if someone's hit by a car at a newly closed intersection, the driver is unlikely to be held liable. Pedestrian and bike groups are also frustrated, saying the closure will make the roads more dangerous at a time when pedestrian deaths are increasing. So you can see here, this is what this is what Portland does. This is what Portland does. I'm looking at this here. They need to cut the curb down so that wheelchairs can access it. They haven't cut it down yet, so instead they will be installing barriers and putting up signs that say crosswalk closed. Now, the really dumb thing in Oregon, I think all of Oregon, but at least in Portland, there's no jaywalking. You can cross the street anywhere you want to. Every corner is designated a crosswalk, whether it's marked or unmarked. And yeah, you can cross the street in the middle. You can cross it anywhere you like. There's no problem for pedestrians doing that. I think that this is because a lot of people moved to Oregon that live on the streets, and they can't be bothered by using crosswalks. And so to accommodate them, they changed the laws here in Portland so that you can cross the street anywhere you want to, and the cars are obligated to stop. But apparently now, the only place you're not allowed to cross the street is on the corner where the curb hasn't been cut down and they put up a little sign that says closed sidewalk. Yeah. How much is this going to cost, by the way, to go out and put up little barriers with sidewalk closed signs? This is going to cost so much money. I remember at one of a small community center here in Portland had a restroom, and it was just one of these single restrooms, with a single toilet, sink. It said restroom on it. But that's not good enough for the city of Portland. they had to pay a contractor to come in and take down the restroom sign and put up a sign that was designated all gender restroom on the single restroom door. And they did that all across the city for all city properties. Seems like an incredible waste of money to me. And I think that this closing sidewalks by putting up a little barrier, and if you had to cross the street and there was a little barrier and it said sidewalk closed, is that going to stop anybody? No. You're not going to walk 200 feet to the next block to cross and then come back. That's insane. So again, this is local government just being dumb. This is Portland being Portland, essentially. So, what are you going to do? All right, I want to talk about capitalization. Okay, this is the good news story of the day, and I'm not just talking about the beginning of a sentence, right? This is the process of sharing good news or positive events with other people in order to enhance the experience, and it derives greater benefits from both people. Now, in the context of communication, capitalization involves telling other people about an event, like you got a promotion, a successful project, personal accomplishment, in order to amplify the positive emotions associated with the event. Now, typically, this involves seeking out someone who's close to you, like a spouse, a friend, a family member. Share the positive news, and when done correctly, hint to everybody in my life, when the close other responds in an active and constructive way, such as expressing enthusiasm, congratulating the individual, offering support, both the discloser and the person responding benefit. Yeah. Now, this act of capitalization can lead to all kinds of personal benefits, positive emotion, better well-being, more self-esteem, decreased feelings of loneliness. So this is something that you can do, and both people are going to feel better if your friend, your spouse, is not a jerk about it. It's the process. You share good news with other people, and it amplifies that good news, and it should be a good thing for both people. That's what capitalization is. I didn't know the term before last night when I was looking for a good news story, and this looked like a good one. And it's interesting because let's say a friend tells you something, they're telling you some good news. If you just go along with it, it could actually be beneficial for you too. Or you could be a jerk about it, and then you both feel bad. So I guess that's your choice. But I think being aware of this, what this is, capitalization, you can amplify other people's good news, and it does have an effect on yourself just by experiencing that. So I think that's a positive story of the day. That's all I have for you today. Stick around in the after show. I will address all of your comments. If you've made it this far, you know, one day this year, we're going to get 50 likes, perhaps. But stick around for the after show, and I'll see you there. Until then, until tomorrow, have an awesome day. Peace. Hey, thanks for joining me. All right, just checking out what's happening on the other platforms. Not a whole lot. Doesn't look like a whole lot. So it is what it is. Duggo is over on Rumble. I'm always glad to see Duggo. He says Marianne is wacky. but at least she seems sincere, which is more than you can say for most politicians. Yeah, I did forget to say anything about the Russian interference about the 2016 election, but I believe that I don't say anything about that now, because I think now the rule is that no presidential election ever has had enough shenanigans to change the result, and I stand by that. That's the amazing thing about our country is we make a lot of mistakes, but not in presidential elections. Okay. Oh, look, everybody's in the chat. Oh, I love it. We got Flames and Coffee in the chat. I appreciate that. What's up, Fireman 2032? Apothecary John, Miranda K's here. Your wall mask. Yes, my wall mask is a funny cutout mask here, but I like that emoji. I have not seen that emoji. I'm going to have to copy that. Fun, fun, fun on the Audubon. That's a nice reference to Kraftwerk, some of the early synth gods, if you will. They should rename everything. Yes, Washington, of course. Good stuff, Tom. Thanks, Tobias. Berlin is here. What's up, Muggsy? Muggsy Spug. Audubon is the correct spelling. No speed limits. Oh, that's funny. So you just changed the Audubon, named from John Audubon, to the Autobahn. That is the German freeways, where there's no speed limits, but it kind of is, because it's kind of dangerous driving too fast. Want to hear a joke about construction? Well, I'm still working on it. I like it. But Muggsy says, I'm unregistered and ready to party. Sounds good. We don't register by party in Washington State. I didn't know that, Miranda. You learn something every day. Winning in a landslide, that could mean his opponents were in a natural disaster. That's true. I wish these Nigerian politicians would stop cutting off the bills on their caps. The stuff went out with crisscross in '88. Seriously. I think it's kind of rock an Egyptian cap. I think it's kind of cool. You don't always need a bill on your cap. I'm not much of a bill wearing guy myself either, so I don't know. I think they look sharp. Why does that crosswalk closed sign look like it's held up by the opener of a 50 sardine tin? Yeah, it's ridiculous what they do here in Portland. They've put up, sometimes they'll put up an island in the middle of the street to get people to stop turning, and they will have plastic barriers so you can see that there's an island there. But then enough cars hit the island, they knock down the plastic barriers. They never put up plastic barriers again. They don't replace them, right? So now you've got this island which doesn't even have reflective paint on it or anything, and then at night people hit it and crash their cars. It's to make everybody safer. Yeah. Capitalization. I've always been kind of a lowercase guy. Haha. To be safe, Portland needs crosswalk closed signs in all places that are not ADA crosswalks. Yeah, they probably do. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. They'll spend hundreds of thousands of dollars putting up these signs. They did a campaign about speed, people driving too fast, and they came up with 20 is plenty signs. And I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars they spent on these little signs that people could put up in their yard. 20 is plenty to not be driving too fast. I don't know. It seems local government, every decision they make, I feel like I'm the opposite. Hey, Tom V. Gates. Gates gut. Gates gut, Muggsy. Yeah. What is the name of the tiki mask emoji, Miranda? I don't know the name of the tiki mask, but you can cut and paste it, and you can probably search for tiki, I bet. Name everything after St. Floyd, just to be safe. I don't know its name. It's just part of a list then. Okay, well, that's cool. Hey, thanks, everybody, for joining me on the after show and the chat. I liked the stories today. I thought that they were interesting, and I really am glad that I can share this Groundhog's Day experience with you. I have found myself getting in a bit of a rut, but this is just a reminder for all of you and myself that we can do different things, and life's too short to just be in an endless cycle. So, yeah, go do something different. Break out of it. Be dumb. Make a mistake. It's okay. Anyway, love you all. Have a great day, and I will see you mañana. Peace.